there ain't no stopping us. Fly without boarding pass. Couldn't catch me, I've been moving fast. Call me a shooting star. Then know you are. Flying up in the bar. Wish on a star. Time to show.
Hello my good Tenno, today we're going to talk about how you can build Saryn for Steelpath contents. Take note that this build is aimed for players who have not yet unlocked everything in Warframe, which means this build is aimed for beginner players that are new to Steelpath. In this build we will not use any helminth or any shards since not all beginner have unlocked those things. Instead, this build will focus on melee and how you can use your melee weapons for survivability. First let's talk about Saryn. Saryn is one of the best nuker frames in Warframe. Her abilities allows her to clear rooms at an insane rate. Her first skill, Spores, inflicts corrosive damage to enemies, and when that enemy is killed, spores are then transferred to nearby enemies. However, enemies who dies due to the spore will not transfer spore to other enemies. The second ability is Molt, which is a defensive skill for Saryn. This skill cleanses Saryn out of any status effects and aggroes enemies. The third skill is Toxic Lash, which coats all weapons that Saryn use. With Toxin, this damage acts like faction mods, where your total damage is multiplied based on the damage increase of Toxic Lash. Then finally Saryn's fourth ability Miasma, spread viral procs to nearby enemies. Any enemies that are affected by spores will receive 4 times the damage when affected by Miasma. Now let's look at the build. For the Warframe build, we have Rejuvenation for our Aura mod. You can use any Aura mod here except Corrosive Projection. Then we up a lot of range mods such as Cunning Drift, Stretch and Augur Reach. We use Augur Reach for our Shield Gate. Then we put 2 Umbra mods for extra health and strength. Then Adaptation for the Resistance, Primed Continuity for the Duration, and Contagion Cloud so that when we kill our enemies with our melee, a toxic gas will be spawned. Then Hunter Adrenaline for energy regeneration since we will take damage to our health. This build does not require you to have any of these arcanes. Now for the bubonico build. Hell's Chamber for the 120% multishot. You can change this into Galvanize Hell for more multishot if you have one. Then Critical Deceleration for the 200% critical chance. And to counter the negative fire rate of critical deceleration, we put Shotgun Barrage. Galvanized Savvy for additional status chance and flat damage for every status effect. Ravage for the critical damage. Charge Shell so that we can create corrosive, since the bubonico have innate toxic element. Then Hunter Munition for the slash chance when we crit. Vigilante Armaments for more multi-shot, and Primary Dexterity Arcane just for extra combo duration, and because we will primarily use our melee. Now for the secondary weapon, the Epitaph. Barrel Diffusion for the 120% multi-shot. Pistol Pestilence and Frostbite so we can proc viral status effects. Augur Seeker so our status effects last longer. We paired this up with Augur Pact for our shield gating, since we get back 120% of the energy we spent into shields. Primed Fulmination for blast radius. Gunslinger for fire rate. We need fire rate so we can prime enemies quicker. Heated Charge for fire element, then a pistol ammo mutation for our ammo restoration. Then Primary Dexterity for the combo duration. Now finally for our melee weapon, the Orthos Prime. For our stance mod we use Shimmering Blight. Then we put Condition Overload for the additional damage per status effect. Blood Rush and Weeping Wounds for the increase of critical chance and status chance based on our combo counter. Since we are using the Dexterity Arcanes, our combo will mostly remain on 12x. Primed Reach or Reach for additional range. Smite Grinier for multiplicative damage mod per faction. If you don't like using faction mods, you can use Gladiator Might for more critical damage. Organ Shatter for the increase of critical damage. Berserker Fury for attack speed. You can change this to quickening if you have a lot of downtime when killing enemies. Healing returns so that we get our health back for each status effect that the enemies we hit have. Since we will be priming our enemies before killing them and the corrosive and viral status effect from our ability, we will always be healed when hitting enemies. And because of us healing every time, adaptation will proc, making us more tankier. Now let's try this on a real mission. As you can see, even if the enemies damage our health, we instantly gain it back due to the massive amount of status effect we inflict to them, and we don't really get one-shotted because we have our adaptation activated. And the gas cloud that we spawn every time we melee kill an enemy also helps us kill enemies quicker. Now let's see how this build deal against acolytes. Let's skip to the part where an acolyte spawns. As you can see, this build can also take on an acolyte head-on because we just instantly heal all the damage we take from the acolyte. Now that's it for the video. Thank you for watching and good luck Tenno.